Yep, there it is. Baby, we live.
Let's go.
Say hey to the people. Hey,
Hey.
people.
OG Snow. Denise Robinson.
You want me to call you OG?
No, I want you to call me Denise.
Okay, let me make sure. All right, you guys, listen. I'm excited today. I'm gonna have to give y'all a backstory about what happened today. But let me do the introduction. So, welcome to KFLO presents Kandid Kontent. Welcome to another episode. This is now episode 14. I hope to inspire, encourage, and empower all of you to live life better. Hashtag elevation information, because my hashtag is KITE, which is candid information for transformation and elevation. Hashtag live life better. You guys, please share this conversation. We are going to really have some deep conversation on today. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but we gonna get into it with grace. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, so as you guys know, you can follow Kandid Kontent on YouTube and Facebook. Also, I have a new book. Hello. It is Style is a State of Mind, Changing the World One Closet at a Time. You can find the ebook. You don't have connection?
Mm-mm.
Ebook on Amazon, soon to have a published written copy, which will also be available on Amazon. And also, your girl is branching out into some other avenues. It is going to be K-Styles, youth decor, and more. Painting, decoration, small things of that nature. So listen, I'm doing a lot of stuff. So I'd like to say hey and hello to my guest today, Denise Snow.
Hello.
She's here and we're ready to get into this conversation. Today's topic is surviving and striving, and we're going to be talking about traumas and abuse and things of that nature. So we're going to have a really candid conversation today. But first of all, let me tell you this. So we were supposed to be in studio today, right? But we know that communication is very important. So what had happened was I communicated, but I communicated with the wrong person about the schedule today and what time to show up and all that. So was not able to get into the studio. But guess what? It's my show, so I can do it from home. Okay.
That part.
So we're gonna do it from the house as we always do, and we will be at the studio another time. So let's get into the show. I am excited to talk about this. How you feeling today, Miss Snow?
I'm good. I was a little bit nervous, but first of all, I want to say thank you for listening to me when I gave you that phone call. Thank you for being open and understanding, not judgmental, but actually want to find a remedy or a source to breaking generational curses and helping young ladies, because what's going on, it's not just a young lady thing. It's happening to young men as well. And just for you having that open ear and if we just touch one person or let one person know, there's help out there. You're not alone. And I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. So the funny thing is that I had made this post, right? And it was a post on generational trauma. And I posted a couple of things actually, because I had been listening to this lady. I cannot think of her name right now. I should have written it down. But so I posted it, and so she reached out to me like immediately after I made the post. So when she reached out, I said, "Oh, are you referring to the post that I made?" And she said she didn't even see the post. So that's how you know that was nobody but God and divine connection, because the statement and the message that she sent to me was the same topic that I had just posted, and she had not seen it. So listen, I got to pay attention to divine connection and divine order, because that's how God works. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it happened. We began the conversation. We were supposed to have other guests. It didn't work out that way. Baby, you never know what God is doing. She was a little frustrated, but she ain't frustrated no more.
I was crying. I was in tears.
We had a conversation, and it's all good, because listen, people, you have to meet people where they are. And there's so many times that people say, "Oh, yeah, I support you. I'm all in. I'm there. Let's do it. Let's go." and then they bail out for whatever reason. Could be a great reason. It could be that they just got nervous or scared. Yeah, and then sometimes things just happen. So when she reached out,
I'm sorry.
You ready to share it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ready to share. No problem. Okay, so and things happen, just like with the studio this morning. I thought we was gonna be recording in studio for the first time. Would have been the first time for me, and I was excited about it. But it didn't happen, so we just keep it going. You sharing it?
I'm sharing it now.
Okay. Cool beans. All right. So we're live and we are ready to go. So let's get into this conversation. Thank you for being here. This is also my classmate, Hush 92. Woo woo, baby.
Hey, no other school better.
Listen,
no other class better.
Eagles
hey,
all
we
day.
did that. We did that.
Eagles all day. I can't speak for what they're doing today. But you know, back in 92, baby, Eagles all day.
Yes.
All right, so let's discuss the topic. Tell me why you decided that now is the time to share your story and talk about this specific topic, because this is a heavy topic.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's part of my healing process. Becoming one with self, accepting and learning to love your own self. I mean, I had to start back. Forgiving myself from the age of 1 through 7, 7 through 9, all the traumatic things that happened through me through those ages. And where I felt that I was healed, that I actually was not healed, because, you know, when you still have certain triggers of trauma and you think you're healed, then you're actually not healed. So I was like, this is part of my healing. You know, how can I help somebody in this process of healing? Because me healing right here actually can help someone. It's something that I can't do selfishly by myself.
Right.
So it's like in this time. I don't know if it's because it's 2024, as I said, the year of the Aquarius, or if it's just my time. I just feel like it's my time to heal. It's my time to tell my story. It's my time to move forward in life, and it's my time to help.
Totally agree. I commend you, sis. This is very big of you. It really is, because a lot of people are still out there suffering and dealing with these things, and they haven't addressed them. And the thing is that you take this stuff, you know, with you.
Right.
If you're not healed, it shows up. So your particular abuse was molestation at a young age, right?
Correct.
And you knew the person?
I did, you know, and it's funny how abuse, well, it's not funny how abuse works, but normally when abuse happens, it's with somebody that you trust, you know, that has access to you. So that's how my abuse happened. You know, this person had access to me. It was somebody that was well trusted. It was a family member, you know. So,
and so they got access to you how? Because they were just always around.
Always around, you know, trust. You know.
Wow.
You know, we let our kids run free. Hey, that's your auntie. Hey, that's your uncle. Go with them. You know, we don't know what deep things that's going on inside that individual. We just know what we see on the outside. We hear. I mean, sometimes you don't even hear about it, but I guess when you don't hear about people's trauma and that trauma happens to you, when you go and ask for help, it falls on deaf ears because they feel like, well, that person is not like that, you know, so they don't believe it. So you're letting a monster run free because you're looking on the character on the outside and not actually getting to know the individual on the inside to see where his trauma lies. And hurt people, you know. Right. It's a situation like that.
And so was this person male or female?
It was male. It was male.
Yeah, that's okay. So you did reach out for help. You told somebody.
I did. I actually told a family member. I remember telling an aunt, and I was like, hey, you know, this is going on with me. And at the time I was probably maybe 13. I had to be 13. I was 13 years old when I told it happened from the time I was 9 to 13. So when I was like, okay, you know, this ain't right. Okay, I want to get help, you know, but I'm scared to ask this person for help. And I'm scared to ask that person for help. So maybe if I ask this person for help, they'll take me out of the situation, is what my thinking was. So when I reached out to my aunt and said, hey, you know, this is going on. And she closed a deaf ear to it. And, you know, she called my mom. And once it went there, I was immediately thrown into the system, you know, put in, you know, went for psychiatric help. And the doctor was able to like say, hey, you know, at that time, a lot of, and this was in the 80s. So insurance scams was happening back then. So I remember taking a pregnancy test. And I was pregnant at the age of 13. I was pregnant by my molester. I was It was my first little boyfriend and
Mhm.
situation, and I got pregnant. So that went down. Telling my mom this the situation went down. So we went to this doctor in Dallas, and I remember taking a pregnancy test, and it was purple. But he put it behind his back and told my mom, "Oh, it's not colored right, so it's probably a negative. Let's send her here." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, no, 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 show my mom that, you know."
Mhm.
And he didn't, you know. I'm a child, shut up, I done messed up, and so called I done messed up. I'm like, okay, well, what about we took a lie detector test, you know, my lie detector test came back, she's not lying,
Mhm.
but because I'm a minor and that individual was an adult
Mhm.
using their own insurance, they did not have to display their results with us.
Oh.
So that's why it was never really nothing pushed for that. And I ended up getting sent to this home and had to beg and pray my way out of that and just do a lot of convincing and, hey mom, what they're saying I am, I'm not, you know, I don't know how to convince you that I'm not. I've never done drugs in my life. I'm pregnant, you know, and she was like, nah, you know, but it was really, really deep. It was a really, really, really dark moment.
So at that time, you were not even able to, I guess, get consoling from your mom,
No,
who's the
no.
person you would think will be there. So is that relationship healed now with your mom?
Before my mom passed away
Okay.
2 years ago. So absolutely, it was here. But I understood the situation because, again, we back in the '80s. You know, we just leaving
Mhm.
the '70s, back in the '80s, early '80s, and her role. I mean, it's all about DNA. You know, it's all about what we train. It's all about what we taught. You know,
Mhm.
you're taught to stay there. You're taught to deal with it. You're not. She wasn't strong enough to leave. Didn't think she would be able to leave.
Mhm.
Um, she didn't think she would be able to make it. And I mean, and I guess I understood it, but it made her take a strong forefront around her children to be more aware of what was going on around her kids.
Mhm.
But and I know at the end of her life, you know, when she passed away, she was kind of mumbling, going through life things that happened. I was like, she's going through things, trauma in her life. It's like she was clearing her path before she left.
Mm.
And so, you know, we had a conversation that we never had before. And I mean, she was hurtful of that. You know, she was hurtful of the situation. And she felt like she couldn't love me enough. And I
Mhm.
know my mom loved me, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
It's just, and it made me be that special child because it made me be that black sheep. It made me be the one that stood boldly. It made me be the one that, you know, I don't care what they say, I'm busting through, you know.
Mhm.
And that type of lifestyle for a girl that was raised in church, you know,
Mhm.
the church closed the doors on me, you know, family closing the doors on you. You getting put in this home. It was a lot, you know, it was a lot to take. And I could it have broke me down? Absolutely. Was it
Mhm.
days I cried and thought maybe everything was my fault? Absolutely.
Mhm.
You know, but it was some voice that, hey, it's not your fault. You didn't deserve that. You know, the help should have been there for you, but it was
It wasn't.
not.
Yeah.
You know, it was not there.
So, and I remember in school, man, I thought Denise was so bad. Y'all, she was fighting like, baby. It would take nothing for Denise to be in a
Same.
fight, baby. I was like, ooh,
But
I don't want to mess with her.
let me share this with
But
y'all.
I think now that I know that you were going through something, see, we didn't know that this is the '80s. This stuff was not talked about. It was not good. Anybody was fighting, you just thought they was bad. But so now hearing her story as an adult, it makes sense to me now that she was reaching out. She was struggling with some stuff, and we had no information about that. We didn't know. I just thought she was bad and fighting all the time. And here's the funny part: I was like, but she a church kid like me. How she always fighting?
Double the trouble. Double the trouble for the simple fact that they didn't let us make it because we was wearing dresses all the time.
Right.
And if I allowed my situation to let me be a victim at that time, y'all, I would have got beat up. I would have got bullied. So I had to talk. I had brothers. I had a sister. Me and my sister was a holy roller. She was going that route. Don't talk to her if we ain't talking church Bible. And I just had to hang with my brothers. So it was like, okay, I'm not finna get beat up. So how can I do this? And I tricked myself to make whoever was trying to attack me, make them look like the person that was hurting me. I knew I couldn't beat that adult up, but I'm gonna get you, you know. So
Right.
that's how I did it.
Right.
And it kind of had me out of control. And my mom used to say this all the time. And I think when I got older, it kind of ringed on me. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I got to figure out another way to do this. She's like, okay, you keep fighting. You're going to end up in the penitentiary just like so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm like, the penitentiary? Yeah, and they don't get to do this. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. So I was like, okay, let me just transfer from this school because everybody knew me as this. And I wanted to change, and I knew I couldn't change in the atmosphere of what I have grown up to be and was. So it was like, okay. So I went to another high school, had my baby, did okay there. It was just too much. I just couldn't find my mold. So I went to another high school to where I was able to flourish, get scholarships to school, be in Drillton. My mom allowed me to still be a child, and she helped me with my daughter, but at the same time, I tried not to put that burden on her. I always had a job. My first job, I was telling the doctor that I worked for, I said, yeah, we were falsifying birth certificates back then. Now you can't falsify a birth certificate. I was 12 years old working at McDonald's. We was able to flip them birth certificates, but I've always had a job. I always tried to have my own. I've always tried to provide, Mama, the church ain't going to accept me. So guess what? I got to figure this out, and I feel like I'm to blame for everything that's happened to me because I feel like I attract this, I like that, and I feel like everything, maybe it is my fault, maybe it was something I did, maybe it was something I wore, maybe it was something I said that attracted, how didn't know how to protect myself? Why wasn't the doors open enough to say, hey, mama, I got touched last night. That was the first time, but I wanted it to be the last time. Why wasn't I bold enough to say that to her,
Because you're a kid. And that's the thing. Most victims or survivors, I don't label you as a victim, but always think that it's their fault. And then if you don't have somebody to go to who's going to support you and pull you out of there to help you, it's like, what else do you do? So you had to figure it out as a kid.
That's true.
As a teenager, you had to figure it out on your own. Oh, I cannot even imagine. I cannot. Friend, when I tell you I commend you, because all I knew was that it was like, what happened to Denise? Like he was there,
disappeared,
and he was gone,
disappeared.
And I remember having these conversations in school, like where did Denise go, baby? She was just gone, and we didn't know. But glad that you were able to make that transition and go somewhere where you were able to start over, in a sense, right? And start your life over as a new person because you needed that.
I needed it.
You needed it, and I'm glad that happened for you, baby. You just never know.
And I mean, but you got to realize. So I had my first child when I was 14. By the time I graduated high school, I had my second child. But and I really believe in my heart the situation of my childhood trauma led me to guys and I've always been in a situation where it was some type of abuse going on toward me, and and it fell into my DNA. My DNA structure had changed because that was there now. The molestation was there now. So childhood trauma, you having kids, that trauma is still your DNA. Your children are part of your DNA. So that DNA goes in them. Then I'm having more children, and that stress, that the sadness just continuous and no healing. That home they put me in, I didn't get healed there. I saw more trauma and abuse there. If anything, I learned, okay, I need to stay away from that. I need to do this way so I won't get put here. I need to do it that way, And I'm like, well, it was kind of hard for me to do it that way because, number one, I was pregnant. And, when you're pregnant and you're going through those first trimesters, you're sick, you're throwing up, you can't eat. I remember one time sitting at a table from 5:30 to 10:30 at night. You ain't getting up from that table till you eat your dinner. So I'm like, I can't, y'all don't understand what's going on. I know what's going on. So the kids in that building, they was like by their rooms, and whenever one of the counselors go to the restroom, they go run in the kitchen where I was sitting, they go grab it off my plate, go run to the back to the room. Somebody else watching, go run back to that table, grab it. I mean, till my plate was clean. And I was sitting at the table like Miss Sophia on Oprah Winfrey when the head down like that. And I raised my head up and I'm like, something had me. Something said, just hold on. You're going through this because it's a bigger picture for you at the end. I just need you to hold on. I was stereotyped. Kids that's been molested, they get on drugs. They end up with a whole bunch of kids. They hurt people. they had this whole stereotype. It's a cycle,
Yeah.
You weren't gonna graduate school and all that. But my mom would throw that at me, when I would buck. She was like, okay, well, society said this anyway. Well, go ahead and drop out. They said, I was like, who is they?
Mm-hmm.
And I got mad at they. I said, oh, let me show they something. I want to know who they was. It was her using reverse psychology. It worked,
Mm-hmm.
It made me get off of that, following that stereotype, what they said was going to happen, and get on the book. Hey, you're not a dummy. You're smart. Stay here. So that's why I have always wanted to do some kind of foundation, helping young ladies like this. But again, this is a subject that's really not talked about.
Right.
Nobody discusses this, and it's 2024. You don't really hear about this, but it's still happening.
It's still happening. That's why you got all these rape, well, not rapes happening, where you find these kids. What do you call it? Sex trafficking? Sex
trafficking.
That stuff is running rampant.
It's crazy
these days, and I'm like, how are y'all getting these girls? What is the state of mind of these girls that they're like? How are they getting into these places?
Run away if you want to. Run away from home if you want to. You don't want to listen to your mama? Run away from. You don't listen to your parents? Run away from home if you want to. Somebody be there say, oh, it's okay. Your parents are they horrible. They don't understand. Well, come with me. Just stay here. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you. You're safe. Lay right there on the couch. You're safe. Here, have something to eat. Here, have something to drink.
So that's what's happening.
It can be a woman talking to you. It could be a man talking to you. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. You want to meet somebody online? Yeah, meet me here.
Meeting people online.
It's happening.
Snapchat and all
I was telling you that conversation about the little young lady that I had met, and that she had just got out of sex trafficking, and she got Survivor of the Year award. She was sex trafficking for years from somebody she knew. How she got out of it. I couldn't get deep because the devil is in the detail, and when you hear things like that, it also triggers your trauma.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's trauma bonding.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to hear her, but at the same time, make sure we was not trauma bonding, so wow. It's happening. It's happening.
It's really sad. So while we're saying that, let me give you guys a number. So this is the Texas Abuse Hotline. It's 1-800-252-5400. That's the number that I found today. So if you're going through any trauma or abuse, that's the Texas Hotline for Abuse. Again, 1-800-252-5400. So let's talk about now. So we spoke about how you acted out in school, how these things happened to you because of the trauma and how that showed up in other areas. So I want to know, were you able to ever confront your abuser?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and how did they respond? How did that go? If you can talk about it. If you don't want to share, you don't have to share it.
And this is a question that I struggle with, but at the same time, I want to answer it because, there is a good side to this.
Whatever you're comfortable with, no pressure.
So getting into a relationship, in any relationship, there are certain triggers in your relationship. If you've ever been in some type of trauma, when you're going, say for instance, the way somebody smells, the way somebody touch you, the way somebody laughs, the way somebody drink a cup and they sip the juice and they slurp, just a scent, somebody getting too close to you and they breathing on you. Those are triggers because those are triggers that happen with your abuser. So at that point in my 20s, I was ready to heal because I saw some areas in my relationship that it was affecting because it was certain things that I didn't like. But I knew that my partner liked it, but it was like, okay, Denise, you got to heal. This is not the person that did that to you. So you can't put that trauma on him. He didn't do it. Yeah. And I was told the other day, the past is the past. This happened in the past. But I wasn't thinking like that in my 20s. I thought, okay, I got to fix something. I want to fix this area of my life, especially with this individual. So I went over to that individual house and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. I said, it's going to be a deep conversation. It's not going to be the type of conversation you're used to. I said, I got to fix some things in my life and it starts with you. And then it was like, okay, I was like, what you did to me as a child is spilled over into my adulthood. And I'm hurt. And I hate that you did that to me. I forgive you. I don't know what kind of childhood you have. I never known your childhood because we never speak on it. But I forgive you. And in order for me to forgive myself, I have to forgive you as well. I said, yes, I'm hurt. I don't know what I did to you, but this is how it has affected my relationship. And I kind of went into detail, the devil in the detail with that individual of my relationship, because I didn't want to talk like this. I wanted you to know, so when you apologize, you knew what you was apologizing for. So I went into detail, and I was like, did I reach this individual? I don't know, but he started crying, and to see a man of this stature cry, and I'm like, it was like, okay, so I'm reaching. So I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm talking, and I go into my thing and I say, if I ever hear that you, or if I ever hear that of the past or anything of the future that you do this to any child, I'm gonna, I threatened him into taking his life. And so he was like, you would really take my life? I have, at this point, if I had to save somebody else's life, I would. So he was like, and after that, you would not believe the relationship we have now. That individual was able to change their life literally. I really, literally seen rehabilitation at its finest. And he went to God. He asked for forgiveness, and he put the work in. This is the first person I ever saw talk to God and put the work in, and not talk to God and just leave it. He put the work in. So, I'm sitting back and I'm watching, I'm like, okay, maybe change can happen. Maybe you can heal yourself on the inside out. So in order for me to heal myself, I had to have that conversation. I had to have it. So it's nothing I can say, hey, I need this. And I don't use what happened to me as leverage to get what I want now. That person know I stand 10 toes down on anything I stand for. So if I'm calling and asking for something, or if I need you in this area, or they're there. They're proven to God, they're proven to themselves. And honestly, at this point, you don't have to prove nothing to me. Live your life right. You did that. And I take it there was some kind of childhood trauma. Have I ever asked, was that childhood trauma? No, because I don't want to know. You have to deal with that. You heal yourself. To tell me your childhood trauma brings on my childhood trauma, and we're again trauma bonding. The DNA is there. I want to fix the structure of the DNA. I want to fix this generational curse. I want to fix it to where this won't happen to anyone else. Honestly, it's a generational curse. It doesn't just happen in my home. It doesn't just happen in your home. It doesn't just happen in the next person. This has been happening for decades. Decades. So how do you fix something that's been happening for decades?
Ma'am, my mouth is still on the floor when you said you have a relationship with this person today.
Absolutely.
No, not absolutely.
Kim, let me tell you what my healing started at. If I wasn't healed, I couldn't talk to this individual. If I wasn't healed, I wouldn't be able to be here today. That person has to have his own accountants, own karma come back. So will I keep that in the universe because what you did to me? Do I hate you? Am I mad at you? Do I forgive you? Yes, I do. And honestly, it had to be a point in my life. I had to have a relationship with this person. I had to. I could have cut it off, but what am I gonna cut it off for? This is how close that person is to me. I just could not, and I love, this is called an unconditional love.
Right.
So I use my unconditional love to where I am now in life. And I'm trying to apply it to who I am in life. That's why I'm trying to open up doors and heal Denise. So if I keep that, if I can't talk to you, if I can't, be next to you, then I don't forgive me. And I really don't forgive you. So it's like, there are people out there that don't forgive. There are people like, oh, I'm standing away from it. He did this. It's just that I really believe that God is real. The God in us is real. And I do believe that God talks to, who am I to keep punishing you? You're punishing yourself enough. Every time you see me, you punish yourself.
Well, they say forgiveness is for you, not the other person. So that just made me think back. Do I need to forgive somebody? Am I holding on to anything? Thank God, I've never had any, situations like that or anything happen to me in that nature. But God,
the type of forgiveness I give is the type of forgiveness I want to receive. Will I receive it from my fellow? I may not, but if I want the God in me, the God above, the God in me to forgive. What did they say he did? He forgave. I'm not God. Well, God is in me. I'm a part of his creation. Maybe that's him. doing the forgiving.
Right.
Maybe that's the God in me.
It absolutely takes God to forgive.
So I mean,
it absolutely does.
If this is my way to get in, this is my way to get in.
Sis, when I tell you, I commend you right now, baby. You is 10 feet tall in my eyes right now.
It took me a while to get here. If this wasn't overnight, you know. This,
of course.
This, I mean, and it's crazy because the person I had, he's big in the community. He's small. He's a small little voice, but his heart is so big in the community. What he does in church. I was raised in one of the holiest churches in the world.
Yeah.
This individual would not go to church. I remember this person was saying, somebody got to go to hell. We thought this person would never know God. You know, it was just, that's how, and God got a way of flipping things. God got a way of turning that hot into cold. God got a way of showing up and saying, you know, whether they say it's the universe or if it's God, the God in you talks. So that little voice you hear in your head, that voice is real. You know, it's not, I'm tripping. I thought I heard something. No, that's the God in you. That's your upper. That's the God. So for God to change, for this person to want to change, because that person know they was going to lose everything, you know, not changing to keep it, but actually having an eye awakening saying, hey, you know what? Come here. Let me talk to all of y'all. I apologize. I wasn't this person in y'all life, but, you know, I want to make it up. I can't make it up. I can't bring that childhood back. But when y'all see me walking forward, I'm going to be this type of person. And I'm not only going to be this person you see. I'm going to live this way. I'm going to be this way. I will be in seclusion to myself with God and with one till I figure this out, you know. And I had to start, it's not for me to believe. It's for you to believe if you're going to do that. So if you do it, we see it, then it's great. I want to see it. You know, if I'm not here to see it, then maybe others can see it. But I see it, you know. And it's crazy to say, I can see the kid right there, walk to the bathroom, come back, that kid gonna be sitting right there and he's gonna be sitting over there, you know. Not that he don't trust himself, but it's that, you know, he's showing that there is rehabilitation, you know, that thing that happened, there was something that had happened to me maybe, and there's something I have to go fix because I'm not gonna put this on, I can't keep going, you know, like this. I don't wanna go like this. And there's some people that don't wake up, that still stay in the molestation, that still molesting, you know, and you see it when they don't change. Yeah. You definitely see a change. You know, so yeah.
Man, God that's amazing. Yeah. Like I'm almost speechless. I'm never speechless, but that is amazing. And again, sis, I totally commend you for that. So okay, so you're obviously striving today.
Absolutely.
You made it through. You made some decisions in your life. You got yourself back on track. You did the work. You did the forgiving, and now you're here. And so, what are you doing today? What is happening in your life today that says I am Denise Snow and I'm thriving? What is Denise Snow doing today?
Denise is redefining herself, redefining life. 2 years ago when I lost my mom, my mom was the matriarch of the family of everything. So, you know, when you got that path, that person can follow that pathway. Okay, she going left, go right, she going right, I'm going to follow that. So when she passed away, it left me in the middle of the road without a God, Guide. And I was like, okay, Denise, what you going to do? You know, you always got these plans. Got brilliant plans. It's time to move. You know, your mama's not there. This is what she was wanting you to do. This is the platform that she was taking you to. This is why she stood so boldly. So that boldness can stand in you and you go step forth and do what it is. If I can heal you by just in conversation, I'm the jack of all trades. I do hair. I do decor. I do events. I'm in the medical field. I'm always giving advice. Somebody's sick, they calling me. I'm running to their house to nurse them back together. You name it, I do it. I do event planning. I'm in the community. You name it, I do it. So it's time for me to step forward. And what can I do to help you? Young lady, what can I do to help you to show you the way you are right now is not how we ought to be as women. Were you hurt? I'm here to listen. I'm not here to judge you. I don't care. My ear is open. Drop it on the table right here today. Let's talk. What can I do to get you to reach where you need to be in life? You was hurt? Okay, we're not going to trauma bond, but let me tell you how you can help you. They out there laughing and talking about you. They already got you ridiculed. They got the labels for you and all that. I'm ripping all those labels down. Where did it begin? What happened between the age of 1 and 3? What happened between 3 and 6? What happened between 6 and 9? What happened? The things you go through in life, the things that they say is not of how we ought to be in etiquette. Sometimes some kind of trauma there that makes you vulnerable, that makes you go sleep with guys, that makes you go sleep with girls. What opened that up for you? You know, where can you heal that in your life? Because sometimes that's your downfall. That's why you're not getting your blessings, because you're stuck in your trauma, and you know you're pulling people in the trauma with you, and you are not healed. And it's starting with the kids, these young girls. Oh my God.
It's some stuff happening in these streets.
In these
streets, in these houses, it's some things happening. Is there an specific organization that you work for, or are you starting your own nonprofit at some time?
I'm getting ready to start my own nonprofit organization. It was going to be called Surviving and Thriving, but I have a life coach. I have a spiritual advisor. His name is Sensei Nine. Shout out to him. We got to talking about my business plan and everything, and he was saying, change that from surviving and thriving to surviving and striving. He said, you're striving. You're striving in life because you're healing. You're healing yourself. You know, yes, you pray about it. You know, but that's my thing. I always tell people, y'all always praying to God, and then y'all go sit down. God hear you, but you got to go do the work. You know, you got to go do the work. Come on.
Faith without work is dead.
That part, you know. So I mean, and it hurts my ears to hear people say, "Well, he's forgotten about me. Well, he's allowed this to happen to me." No, you allowed this to happen to you. He heard you. The door is open. You want him to come grab your hand, y'all. We got to do the work. There's kids out here that need us. I mean, these kids are our future. It's 2024. It's not 1989 anymore. We're not living in. This is a whole nother generation, and these hurt kids are hurt times 3. I was just hurt. Now they're hurt times 3, so it's bigger.
And they got access to guns.
That part. So I didn't have access to a gun. If just imagine if I would have flipped out. Just imagine if I would have done things like that. I mean, and even with your police officers, they beating on us for what? Have y'all ever done some trauma testing with these people? Have y'all ever sat down and looked at what kind of raised they were, how they were raised? I mean, it's bigger than that, you know.
It's that too, and then some of us just racist and they're killing us for sport.
That too.
Because as far as I'm concerned, slavery ain't ended.
It has never ended. It has never ended.
We're still in it.
And I mean, it's different forms of slavery. You got sex trafficking slavery. You got work slavery. We get up every day. I mean, you got life. You got people that's been kidnapped. But the thing of it is, the sex trafficking, they going after these little kids. They going after this gender crisis of kids that don't know which way they want to go. Your parents is tripping. So, you know, come here, let me help you. You know, regardless of whatever your kids decide to be in life, they're still your kids. You can't push them away, you know, because the next arm that open them up might be the arms that keep them and not give them back to you. So, I mean, hey,
the ones that take them out of here.
That part, you know, and
geez, this is so heavy. There's so much more we could talk about. But listen, okay, so I want to mention, this is why my head was down, though, you know, I was looking for this lady, but her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. If you do not know who Dr. Anita Phillips is, please go follow her on social media. She has this great book, but she's a licensed therapist, and she's also a Christian. So she teaches therapy through biblical principles. It is fascinating. So I just wanted to mention that. And let me see, is there anything else? What do you want people to take away from this conversation? I know you said it, but let's summarize for people. What do you want that one person that hears this message to take away from this conversation?
Okay, first let me piggyback off of Kim on the information she gave. Also, if y'all have insurance through your jobs, there are sites on your insurance to where you can talk to a psychiatrist. They can even give you free sessions, and if they feel they need to go further, they will. And when you
3 free sessions, I did it.
And before y'all stop popping the pills that they prescribe to you, try to do some inner healing. There's a thing as trauma. Find out if you have trauma or if you're suffering from PTSD of your trauma. So don't let them start letting you, hey, take this pill to feel better. Y'all cry. You gotta cry. It's a release. You're releasing that inner hurt, that the inner child is healing. So crying is part of it. So popping the pills, all you're doing is suppressing it. Because as soon as the pills wear off, you're gonna get back there. Get into your drinking tea. Get something that chamomile. Drink chamomile when you're going through meditation, prayer. Write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to that person that was hurt. Read that letter out aloud. Tear it up, burn it, do whatever you have to do. Once you're done with that, you're done with that. You can't talk about it if you ain't healed. You can't sit in this seat right here unless if you're not healed.
Right.
You can't black your face out if you're not healed. So once you're healed and you're ready to talk about it, then you're ready to heal and you're ready to talk about it. If you don't have the source, you use your insurance. But what I want somebody to take away with this is that same inner child that you're dealing with is the same inner child I had to deal with. I had to heal. I had to find forgiveness. It's hard, but it can happen. Trust me, it can happen. You can love yourself. You can protect yourself. You also want to break those generational curses because they repeat. They repeat. Whether it's sexual abuse, where it's you lash out in anger, whether it's alcohol, whether it's your kid repeat what they see you do. You drinking all the time, they're gonna drink all the time. They see you fussing and hollering all the time, they're gonna fuss and holler all the time. You don't show their child you love them, they're not gonna show their child they love them. Generational curses, you gotta break it. Trauma bond, you can break it. You can break it. Don't let nobody label you. Love come in all shape, fashion, and forms. All. Don't let the first person say, hey, you pretty. Come here. Number one, you got to realize for yourself you're vulnerable because something happened to you. Kim is stronger than me. Can't nobody just come whisper to her younger child when she was younger in her ear. She knew she wanted, but because that younger Denise got hurt, anybody could have came to me and said, hey, even though I didn't allow, but if I was weak, I could have been taken by anybody. I don't have a lot of bodies. I haven't slept with a lot of people in my life because of trauma. I treasured myself. I know my virtue. I know my worth. I know what I am and who I am. So the same thing to you. You got to find out who you are. You can be strong. You can be anything you want to be in life. You can create your own university if it's if it's in line with God and in your path, you can have it. Heal yourself. Ask for healing. Ask for help. 911. Kim gave you the phone number. There are resources. If you got a person in your family that can actually help you and pull you out that situation, go to them. But if you know they're not going to help you and you're going to stay in an abusive situation, get yourself out of it. And you can get yourself out of it. It's time. Kids, women, boys, girls, anybody. And it's even happening to babies, but babies can't speak for themselves. But if you got a child and your child ain't moving right and got an issue when you changing their diaper or just acts weird around a certain type of person, open your eye to that. Yeah. Check your baby. Take your baby to the doctor. Yeah. Babies can't talk, but they showing emotions. Right. So, you got to tune into yourself, tune into your children. Talk to your kids. 2024 is still happening.
That's just so sad to even think about because people are sick, and even the fact that we have to say check your babies, your babies that can't speak. People are sick. People are sick.
People are sick-minded. Some people can be healed because the sickness they possess is because of the sickness that happened to them. Some people just straight up sick, y'all. Yeah. And you can see those signs. You can see who you can help and who you can't help. Mm-hmm. Some people just sick. Yeah. And some people this happened to so young at age. I know somebody, a kid that's in a foster home, but because of what happened to him, he's going into the foster home and abusing kids the same sexual way that happened to him. Because they're taking them in, they're taking the money, but not giving him the help he needs. So therefore, he's going on and on. Nobody wants to deal with that. Move him on. Nobody wants to deal with that. Move him on. When does this child get to heal? So all he knows is hurting and hurting and hurting and hurting because he was hurt. Mm-hmm. So when would the light bulb click on to him? Hey, what you're doing is wrong. Let's channel into it.
Yeah, we gotta pay attention because I believe that there are always signs.
Always.
I believe that there are always signs. People can fake in front, but if you really pay attention, I think sometimes people intentionally miss signs or ignore signs. And I've said this before: don't ignore the signs. If you feel something is off, it probably is.
Every child that's bad ain't bad. Before you label a child, get to know a child. And you ain't got to grab and go, hey, why you act like that? Just kind of, I'm a type of person, I walk in the room Everybody think I'm real quiet. I ain't quiet. I'm just an observer. I got to see, I got to feel the room. I got to feel, I'm a vibe. I'm big on energy because I bring big energy. So it's like, okay, not that person. Watch that person. Why is she sitting over in the corner like that? You know, why is nobody talking to her? You know what? Why is everybody over over here talking about this person? Or, you know, why? I'm drawn into people like that, and I get to know them, and it's like that's me. And 9 times out of 10, something happened. It's a reason why you're an introvert. Some people are just born introverts, but some people just they're dealing with so much trauma and so much chaos inside. They can't even stand to sit in the room. It's killing them just to sit inside of a room because they don't like crowds. So I mean, before we label little kids that's acting up in school and call them bad and tell your teacher that he gonna go to in 4th grade, I had a lot of trouble with him, and she gonna go off of what you say. Why don't y'all get to know that child and see what's going on? I guarantee you.
Yeah, I'm guilty of, because I'm not I'm an extrovert. I have been guilty in the past of judging people who are introverts, and because I'm thinking, why are you shy? Like, there's no reason for anybody. So I'm like, step out of it, go talk to somebody. But I had to realize that there's, something's there, and everybody's not the same. So even as an adult, I had to pull myself back and say, Kim, you can't judge everybody the same. You can't, everybody ain't me. And I can't expect everybody to show up in the room and be how I am. That's me. So I had to learn as an adult, as a grown 50-year-old something, 40-year-old something, to say, you can't judge everybody based on, how they enter the room versus how you enter into the room, So sometimes you just got to pull back.
Let me ask you this. Whenever you go into a room, do you ever read the room?
I do now. I do now. I used to not. I just feel like everybody's supposed to be on 10. Everybody's supposed to be happy and excited and lively and bubbly. But that's not the case. That's not the case. That's how I am.
No, I mean, even it don't have to be sexual abuse. I mean, just, women go through things at home, and I mean, just like you can read a woman, you okay? Or, I mean, even if it's not that she's going through at home, she's always like that. She always just got that nasty.
Yeah.
It's something I guarantee you, something childhood, something triggered her to be there. Well, you okay? Yeah. I got a bully I work with. She's a bully. I guarantee she's a bully because either she's missing something at home or she's dealing with childhood trauma, and this is the only place she can come and show out. I done already read you. So, we done kind of pierced each other, and it only took one time with me, and she don't rumble with me, and I'm not on that level with her. And when she comes to me, she comes very, very humble and, very, very meek, because I don't give you that energy and you're not going to give it to me. Whatever you displaying, I'm going to ask you okay? Come talk to me, what's going on? And that's my gift of gab is also my curse. It gets me caught up, And
you even have to, like when you mentioned earlier about vibing with people, I have to be careful of, because I'm a hugger and I'm a very social person. I sometimes have to stop and ask someone, is it okay, for me to hug you? You want to dap, you want to high five. And so just being conscious of that, especially in today's society. This ain't like it was back in the 80s, 90s, where everything was cool. Today is so much stuff happening. You don't know what's going on with somebody. You don't know what their triggers are. A hug could trigger something for somebody. You don't think of that, but it could. So we just have to be cognizant of everything in our surroundings. So I just want to thank you. I want to do this. I want to end this on a good note, a happy note. Let me give this number one more time. Texas Abuse Hotline is 1-800-252-5400. So let's end this with KFLO's Flamers. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. Seafood or soul food?
Let's go see.
Seafood?
Yes.
Okay. Salty or sweet?
A combination.
Ma'am.
Huh?
Salty or sweet?
The taste. Okay. Salty or sweet, because I have blood pressure. We're gonna go sweet.
Basketball or football? Basketball.
Threes.
Toni Braxton or Mariah Carey?
Come on, Tony. Let's do this.
You know what I'm saying?
That part.
New Edition or Boys to Men?
Although we come
to the end of the road. Okay. Martin or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Martin.
Okay. Guy or Blackstreet?
I like the things you do to me. I
All right, the Jeffersons are good times.
Good times, anytime you need it, baby. Okay.
That's not the words. Coming to America. Coming to America or Harlem Nights.
You shot my big toe. Why you had to shoot my big toe? I'm going Harlem Nights, baby.
Right. Spades or dominoes?
Oh, spades. I got 8. I got all the books. I got them all. What you got over there?
I don't play.
Oh, come on.
I'm gonna pass out the drinks and say nachos and chicken wings.
Oh, okay.
All right, so thank you, ma'am, again for being on the show today. This was a treat. If you would like to be a guest on Kandid Kontent or AKA the KFLO Show, you can send an email to keatonCreations@yahoo.com. Don't forget to subscribe to Kandid Kontent on YouTube, ma'am. I'm gonna need you to subscribe.
Will do. I think I have.
Okay. We'll double check.
We're gonna double check.
You are now in the know with KFLO. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Y'all go be great. See you next time. We're gonna end this with a prayer. Lord God, thank you for this platform. Thank you for my guests and your audience. I pray that everyone listening will know your voice, hear your will, and then do your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Ashe.
Are out.
Namaste.
Peace, y'all.
Love it.